SCP-914, made famous in SCP Containment Breach, is known for being able to upgrade or downgrade any item that is placed inside of it. But this raises many questions, such as what would happen if we tried to upgrade our favorite SCPs, SCP-999 for example. In this video we answer the question, what if we put SCP-999 in SCP-914? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming Exploring SCP videos, as soon we're checking out more interesting SCP-914 experiments. The first logical thing would be to look for such an experiment in the SCP Wiki. And while SCP-999 itself hasn't been tested with 914, its slime, the material it is made of, has. The tickle monster is said to have been eager to donate samples at first, but became visibly nervous when presented with a syringe, and required gentle reassurance and calming before cooperating. Samples were extracted successfully though, placed inside 914 and ran on all possible settings: rough, coarse, 1-to-1, fine and very fine. On the rough setting, a cloud of orange-colored gas was found in the output chamber, which quickly dissipated into the air. No other effects found place. On coarse, the result was a pile of waxy orange granules with a mild orange scent. Chemical analysis identified it as rock candy. When tested, granules were found to have an extremely unpleasant flavor described as overwhelmingly, disgustingly sweet with an alcohol-like undertaste. Next up, 1-to-1 was selected. An orange liquid with the viscosity of water was outputted, which was extremely greasy to the touch and smelled of peanuts. And now for the interesting bit, fine and very fine. On the first setting, a frozen block of SCP-999's slime was the result. Attempting to melt it resulted in a pile of orange sludge much thicker and more adhesive than before, unfortunately lacking any anomalous effects. And finally, on very fine, a small blob of slime roughly 5 inches in diameter with a strong garlic-like odor was outputted. The entity was mobile and sentient, and capable of making gurgling vocalizations similar to SCP-999, but at a much deeper pitch. The entity, designated E999A, was immediately hostile to all staff, attempting to either leap upon researchers' faces or headbutt their shins via rolling across the floor at high speeds, though its small size and mass prevented it from doing much more than mild bruising. E999A was contained and presented to SCP-999 with the assumption that this was its offspring and that the tickle monster could teach it to become more docile. 999 instead reacted with immediate hostility, attacking it with its pseudopods while E999-A rolled around emitting loud, growling noises while dodging. SCP-999 finally eliminated E999-A roughly 2 minutes later via engulfing it with 2 pseudopods, rapidly dissolving it inside its body similar to how it digests meals. No change in SCP-999's behavior following the incident was noted. However, this was the first and only time that SCP-999 had ever reacted to anything with hostility or violence. And mentioning E999-A to SCP-999 results in it immediately ignoring whoever speaks of it, often by wandering off to play with a nearby object or person. Which is why further research involving 999's slime is temporarily suspended, and any experiments involving SCP-999 and 914 are completely prohibited. SCP-999 is a very friendly creature, and SCP-914 on very fine improves whatever is placed inside. The last thing we would expect is 999's slime to turn into a hostile creature, but apparently that's what we get. But why? If we take a closer look at 914's entry, we see a warning message that no testing of biological matter is allowed, as it leads to chaotic results. A good example of this are all tests in which humans were placed inside SCP-914. On the 1-to-1 setting, A 42-year-old Caucasian man was turned into an agitated and confused Hispanic male that attacked the security personnel and was subsequently terminated. And on the very fine setting, a 28-year-old man was turned into a redacted subject that escaped from the test chamber, killed 8 guards, 2 doctors, and led to the breach of 3 other SCPs. The subject even caused partial memory loss in the MTF members that were supposed to eliminate the anomaly, which they didn't manage. Subject fortunately expired several hours later, dissolving into blue ash and blinding the nearby research team. So taking this into account, it's likely 999's slime was turned into an aggressive blob because of SCP-914's unexpected effects when used on organic matter, and not because of 999's effects. So now that we know what the Tickle monster's slime was turned into, let's explore what would happen if we put the entire anomaly in 914. On Roof, the creature would likely be destroyed, as SCP-914 always reduces its inputs to their basic materials on this setting, so we could expect to either receive a gas just like in the slime test, or a blob of molten slime on the floor, and nothing else. Excellent result. Now we've lost our only hope of ever defeating the Scarlet King. On course, the result would be similar, but we could expect the remains to move or twitch a bit, as we've seen from other living creature tests. Same result as before, no more hope of curing depression forever. What about the other settings? Things would get more interesting on 1-to-1. Unfortunately, we cannot go around the fact that all organic matter that is inserted into SCP-914 becomes aggressive. So in general, if we put SCP-999 inside, we could expect a similar result to the 999 slime tests. On the 1-to-1 setting, the machine outputs something similar but with a slightly different function or look. We could expect to receive a creature of different shape, color, or size. Its behavior would change as well, and it is likely the anomaly doesn't hug people anymore, but attacks them instead, just like the human 1-to-1 experiment we discussed. But what about the fine setting? Here we have 2 scenarios. In the first one, we get a similar outcome to the 999 very fine slime test, a slightly different anomaly that is aggressive towards humans. The only difference would be that this time the anomaly will be 600,000 times heavier, so it could do some real damage if it wanted to. Just imagine the surprised faces of the researchers that are about to be attacked by the anomaly after they inserted the friendliest SCP in the Foundation. And in the second scenario, the Tickle monster could end up expiring in the process. In the same SCP-914 experiments log, tests including SCP-939, an SCP featured in SCP Containment Breach, are described. On the fine setting, the machine outputs the exact same anomaly that was inserted, with one small difference, that its respiration seemed to have halted. And after 24 hours of inactivity, the anomaly was pronounced dead. So there is the possibility that whatever changes the Tickle monster goes through end up killing it instantly. In any case, most likely making SCP-999 aggressive or killing it isn't satisfactory. But just for the sake of it, what would happen on very fine? Well, if we check out the same SCP-939 tests on very fine, we see that only a heap of white ash was the output. And we've seen this in other SCP-914 experiments as well. The clockwork machine sometimes tries so hard to upgrade an object that it ends up destroying it. The researchers insert SCP-999 on very fine, expecting the improved version to instantly cure all depression on the planet, but instead get a pile of molten wax. But if you think this is a bad outcome, just wait till you hear the other possibility. In the second SCP-914 human test, the very fine setting turned an ordinary human into an unstoppable killing machine, which killed multiple MTF personnel and even led to the containment breach of some SCPs. And as we know, despite being very friendly, SCP-999 is quite powerful. On one occasion, it leaped in front of a bullet to save a Foundation staff member, and in the SCP-682 and 999 test, it was completely flattened by the lizard stepping on it before it calmed the anomaly. So we see SCP-999 is in fact very strong and durable. If an ordinary human on very fine became a killing machine and 914 makes all organic matter aggressive, then we can expect SCP-999 to become an indestructible slime assassin that strangles all humans with its pseudopods and causes havoc. There is one alternative scenario, however. It is possible SCP-999's love for everything overcomes 914's attempt to make it aggressive, and it exits just like before, or with an even stronger antidepressant effect. In this case, we could expect the range of its antidepressant effect to increase, or maybe that it becomes so strong that it instantly cures all depression worldwide. Unfortunately, we can't know for sure what will happen, so it's best this test remains unexplored. We have only one SCP-999 anyway, and if the rumors that it is Discarded King's offspring are true, then we will need it to fight off the Red King more than we need it to cure depression. This concludes our SCP-999 vs SCP-914 video. So what do you think? Would the Tickle monster become aggressive or even more friendly on very fine? Let us know in the comments below. Please make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content, as we have many more top 5 SCP videos coming up, and very soon we are checking out more famous SCPs vs SCP-914 experiments. And as always, we will see you in the next video.